Lili is a 13-year-old young lady living in Hungary. She has a blended variety dog named Hagen. Since Lili's parents are separated, she barely coexists with both of them. The main animal she is near is her pet dog. Toward the start of the film, she plays with the dog in a recreation area while her mom watches them. She is wanting to move to the United States, leaving Lili to live with her dad Daniel for all time. Daniel works in a slaughterhouse and hasn't seen Lili since she was 3 years of age. He is astounded that she has carried the dog with her since his apartment is excessively little to hold one. He is additionally not enamored with pets in that frame of mind to think twice about his girl. At the point when they get to the structure, Daniel's landlady lets him know that pets are not permitted in the apartment. He discreetly tells her that he will dispose of it in a couple of days. In any event, during supper, Lili resists her dad, feeding Hagen homemade food. They need to crash in a similar room. As a result of the size of the apartment, the dog has fearing abandonment and can't rest alone, but Daniel actually secures him in the washroom. He cries for quite a while, not allowing anybody to rest. Finally, Lili goes to him and plays Franz Records' Hungarian Rhapsody No. 2 on her trumpet. The dog quiets down subsequent to paying attention to the tune, and Lili dozes in the bath for the evening. A dog and a trumpet. The others who live in Daniel's apartment complex should be pissed. The following morning, they are awakened by somebody ringing their doorbell. A man from dog control educates them regarding a grumbling they got about their dog wailing around evening time. From the get-go, Daniel attempts to conceal the way that they own a pet, however the person ends up seeing Hagen in the apartment. Daniel is told to pay enormous crossbreed charge forced by the Hungarian government. Since Hagen is a blended breed, he is strictly against paying cash to keep the dog that he doesn't need in any case. That day, Lili takes Hagen to her music class since her dad won't leave him be in the house. Since no pets are permitted in the class possibly, she conceals him inside a bureau used to store instruments. Nonetheless, when the music begins to play, a frightened Hagen runs outside. Lili's music educator requests that she send the dog away and remain in the homeroom. Yet she defies him and leaves. The two are strolling through the road when Daniel stops them, angry at the way that he was called by her music instructor. He has chosen to dispose of the dog at any expense. He requests that Lili give him to the dog shelter, but she remains resolved about keeping him with her. Having had enough of her obstinacy, he removes the dog from the vehicle. Lili cries and asks the dog to return, but Daniel compels her inside and drives away. The unfortunate dog pursues them, not having any desire to relinquish his lord, yet he can't stay aware of the quickly moving vehicle. For the following couple of hours, he hangs tight in the road for Lili, yet she stays away forever. At home, Lili awakens around midnight and prepares to go to Hagen, however she is found by her dad, who drives her once again to rest. Hagen awakens in the wake of going through the night under an extension. He searches for food and tracks down a dead creature by the roadside. In the wake of mulling over whether he ought to eat it, he rules against it. Following that, he arrives at a butcher shop and takes a gander at the meat longingly. A white homeless dog grabs his eye, who he follows, and he winds up toward the rear of the shop. A few homeless dogs are eating the extras, however they bark at Hagen when he attempts to get a chomp. This draws in the butcher who pursues them generally away. A gullible Hagen waits in his place, driving the butcher considerably more mad. He is going to go after the unfortunate dog with a knife, but is occupied by the white dog brilliantly. Pursuing the open door, the two dogs take off and arrive at a puddle where every one of the homeless dogs of the area have accumulated to hydrate. Notwithstanding, they are before long drawn nearer by laborers from animal control who get them and place them in confines. Hagen and his friends figured out how to take off while being followed. He is pursued through the roads and ultimately saved by a vagrant. After the specialist's leave, the man strongly ties a rope around his neck and keeps him as a pet. Meanwhile, Daniel returns Lili to her music class and causes her to apologize to the instructor for yesterday. After the class, she covertly goes to the road where they had left the dog the earlier day. She searches for him all over the area, yet without any result. She additionally posts banners of the missing dog wherever she can. Later around evening time, the vagrant offers Hagen to a vendor. He is fastened with his thoughtful toward the rear of the shop. The following morning, a client named Szabolcs comes seeking purchase a dog for dog-fighting rivalries. The vendor claims Hagen won't be really great for battling in light of the fact that he is a lapdog, however Szabolcs gets him in any case. Hagen is giving a resting pill, which makes him drop. Following that, Szabolcs carries him to his home and provides him with a combination of protein powder to make him more forceful. Szabolcs beats him routinely. He is generally starved and confined the whole day. The possibly time he is let out is when Szabolcs trains him. On the off chance that he doesn't get in line, he is beaten ruthlessly. The dog's life has changed for the more regrettable. Szabolcs's training method gets harder consistently. Hagen is as of now not the delicate dog he used to be. He at last turns exceptionally forceful, fit to be allowed into the combat zone. Meanwhile, Lili proceeds with her quest for him. She goes to a dog safe house and gets some information about him. She is informed that he could have been hit by a vehicle or passed on in a road battle. Her day deteriorates when her bike gets taken from outside the sanctuary. That evening, Hagen is brought to the battling ground by his lord. The standards of the match are basic. For a dog to win, the other one needs to pass on. Individuals bet on them and bring in a ton of cash. At the point when Szabolcs acquires Hagen, everybody accepts that he will lose. They even tell Szabolcs he might have improved. In any case, the person is certain about his preparation. The match among Hagen and a Rottweiler begins after a furious battle. Both are left bloodied and harmed. However, finally, Hagen gets a firm grasp on his rival and dominates the game. Dazzled by his abilities, a dog vendor approaches Szabolcs, needing to get him. At the point when Szabolcs declines, they get into a contention. In the midst of it, the lights go off and Hagen makes a move to take off. He runs the whole night to the extent that he can from the dog's cellar. Lili, then again, is pursuing home. Her bike was taken. She meets a friend from her music class named Peter. He is going to hit up a high school party which she requests to join. At first he is hesitant about bringing her, however he calculates that she can be utilized to convey medications to the party without being gotten. Makes her conceal a few pills in her pocket, which she slips into the party. Everybody there is way more established than her, however Lili couldn't care less. She sits in a corner and watches everybody dance. Toward the night, she's nodded off on the floor's end. The following morning, the party is attacked by the police. At the point when Lili is found with drugs, she is taken to the police headquarters. Fortunately, her tests come out negative, so she is permitted to get back with her dad. Gracious, so she wasn't doing the medications, simply selling them. That is fine. Daniel sobs without precedent for years. In the wake of seeing his girl well and alive, he had been stressed to death. The earlier evening. He is sorry to her for removing Hagen from her and vows to get her another dog. Lili excuses her dad and accommodates with him, after which they get back cheerfully. In the interim, Hagen arrives at the puddle the following morning and reunites with his friends, the white dogs. They are together playing by a stream when individuals from animal control remove them and put them in a safe house. Hagen is harmed due to the battle and is treated for it. He is placed in an enclosure with many other homeless dogs and given food. While a large portion of the dogs gobble up it, he doesn't check the food out. The next day, individuals come to the haven to embrace their preferred dogs. A young lady appears to like Hagen, yet he barks at her and is forceful towards the laborers. The proprietor requests him to be put down elsewhere. Lili is playing the trumpet at a show with her symphony. Daniel is in the crowd to support his girl. Hagen is going to be tossed in an enclosure with different canines when he goes after the dog overseer. He becomes forceful and chomps the man on his neck, killing him. Eventually, different canines take cues from him and rush out of the enclosure. Since Hagen is the one to free them, they make him the head of the pack. The proprietor of the asylum attempts to stop him, however he shoves her to the side and escapes with the others. They go through the city and mayhem follows surrounding them. Individuals take off to save their lives as the dogs assault everybody in their manner. In the end, the dogs additionally arrive at the show that Lili is playing. They encompassed from all sides, making the crowd blockade themselves inside the hall for security. The presentation stops as everybody begins to overreact. Lili faculties that Hagen is additionally with them and runs outside, regardless of Peter advance notice or not to. A more bizarre tells Lili and Peter, don't go ground floor in light of the fact that the whole city is in lockdown, however they don't tune in. Finally, she cycles down the unfilled roads, attempting to find Hagen, accepting that she can stop the devastation. At last, a bunch of canines pursues behind her. She tumbles to the ground, yet they disregard her as though they are on a mission. It just so happens, Hagen is driving them to each individuals who have harmed him before. In the first place, he tracks down Szabolcs and approaches him. Before long he is joined by his pack who assault him, abandoning a ridiculous wreck. At the point when Lili gets to the area they have left, a cop tracks down her and places her in the vehicle. Once more be that as it may, she escapes and cycles away, looking for Hagen. She arrives at a meat shop and tracks down the butcher dead on the floor. He was a similar person who attempted to kill Hagen before in the film. She calls Daniel and requests that he stay inside at any expense. He, then again, is stressed over her well-being elsewhere. The police force shoots and kills a few dogs, but a greater amount of them continue to come. The pack goes to the seller who had sold Hagen on the lookout and kills him too. Presently their last objective is Daniel. Lili cycles back to her home and tracks down the landlord dead. She goes crazy and rushes to her apartment, finally acknowledging what Hagen is attempting to do. Realizing that her dad's life is additionally at serious risk, she runs back to the hall. Daniel sees her safe and is feeling better. Nonetheless, Lili is before long drawn nearer by Hagen, who seems to have failed to remember her after all that he has experienced. As he snarls at Lili, his military goes along with him. They are going to go after her when Daniel approaches with a blowtorch to occupy them, save his daughter. When they actually don't quiet down, Lili again plays Franz Record's Hungarian song No. 2 on her trumpet. Hagen at long last recalls her in view of the tune. He quiets down and the pack takes cues from him. They generally lay on the ground paying attention to her play. Daniel is stunned and alleviated at the way that the trumpet is really helpful for something. He's likewise feeling better that Lili is protected. Finally, she likewise lays on the ground with the dogs. The film closes as Daniel goes along with them.